Good morning, fellow Ambazonian. This is a very, very special alert, for all Ambazonian refugees living on ground one. Again, if you live on ground one, this alert has to do with you and, of course, your family. And so we like you to take this news, pass this news across to everyone out there on ground one. And it has to do with efforts and manipulations by the French Cameroun regime to get our refugees leave Nigeria and go back to that damn country. It has come to the attention of the interim government of Ambazonia that certain misguided individuals, led by one success in Congo, are roving Ambazonian refugee settlements in Nigeria, coaxing them to return to Yaoundé. Refugees are promised free flights to Yaoundé with hefty financial packages upon arrival. The refugees are being told that millions of francs CFA are with them, and that with it, they will rebuild their homes and use the rest to settle down for business. The interim government is warning all Ambazonian refugees and asylum seekers in all of Nigeria not to be deceived by such too good to be true mouth-watering offers from agents of Cameroun planted amongst you to manipulate you. If this offer was indeed true, Success in Congo himself, a refugee who belongs settled permanently in Yaoundé, but he chooses to settle in Abuja with his wife and children. Talk of a real hypocrite. His campaign is not genuine. The interim government does warn all refugees not to risk their lives to venture into Yaoundé or La République du Cameroun. We are still very much aware of how at their so-called Grand National Dialogue, a parade was made of so-called disaffected combatant restoration forces over television sets, with Yaoundé's Disarmament Commission promising them heaven on earth. What has become of these since the party? Nobody knows where they are. Nobody hears about them. To the best of our knowledge, they have not been resettled in some homes as was promised. Nobody sees them running a new business or having a new job as compensation for their allegedly laying down of arms. They have since faded into obscurity. Their stories are forgotten. Ladies and gentlemen, the regime in Yaoundé wants to play the same pawn game with refugees who would fall victims to the plot. Know this, that once you arrive Yaoundé, they will get you paraded over CRTV cameras, just so to deceive the international community that life is getting back to normal, that refugees like you are beginning to return home, and of course, with false promises that such refugees are being resettled. That will be all. Like those so-called defected combatants, you will be left failing to survive. Any refugee who falls into the trap set by Success in Congo and his collaborators and go back to Yaoundé shall do so at his or her own risk. Those who promise you a house, a business, and they promise you millions in Yaoundé Equity demands that they first of all show you their own portions of the resettlement homes, of the resettled homes, the business or job they have been given, and the millions too, before one can take them seriously. We know that war is hard indeed, and life is made even tougher in it. But we wish you all of you struggling in these refugee camps, will remember that half measures accepted now can only so soon get us back into the slave and second-class citizens that we have lived under for 58 years with French Cameroun. Not only does the interim government discourage any refugee and asylee from going back to that damn country, but we also encourage everyone to remain resilient, defiant, and patient as the interim government works with international partners for a permanent fix to the conflict. Lest we forget, there is always light, always light at the end of every tunnel. If there were no trials, there wouldn't be any victories. May God bless you. May God protect you and sustain every Amazonian refugee and asylee until we get to Buea. We trust God that this new year, 2020, will be that year, ladies and gentlemen, that we get to Buea. Thanks for listening.